Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD, and in today's video we're going to focus on some subscriber gameplay, and this is a series I've done on the channel for a while where I have you, the subscribers, submit some gameplay, kind of read through them. I select one for review with an overall goal that we can learn from the individual gameplay, regardless if some elements are good or some elements can be improved upon. If you'd like to have your gameplay broken down, make sure you check out the description where I have all the various details. Keep in mind that I only select one for a video, then once I make that video, I make another post where you have to post your most current gameplay that you want to have reviewed. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you do enjoy the content, make sure you do hit the like button. Goal on today's video is 1,500 likes. If you're brand new looking to find your way back for whatever reason, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. So right here, good landing, ends up getting a little bit of floor loot, takes one guy out. I already kind of skimmed a little bit through the gameplay. I didn't go through everything. But it looks like this player is a little bit more of an aggressive player, which I think some people just want to be a little bit more aggressive, maybe get a little more kills, even at the sacrificing of wins. There's always a different trade-off of play styles. If you go 100% for the win, odds are you're only going to end up with between about 3 to 6 kills. If you're only going for 100% kills, odds are you're going to have significantly more kills on average, but odds are you're going to win less because you're focused on chasing kills versus chasing the proper positioning. So there's a trade-off, and then there's always the balance where maybe you start off, see if you get kills. If you end up going to the gulag, you start off fresh, and then maybe you focus only on going for the win if it's not a great start. So a lot goes into it. This is actually a good landing spot in my opinion. I think it's okay for solos because there's a lot of cover. You can position yourself well. He mounted up for the gunfight, which is pretty nice. He's able to take that guy out. There's still another one down low, and that isn't the ideal mounting spot for that angle because it's not going to allow him to see down. So he's going to have to line up the shot. As you can see on the top, there is an FPS counter, so they are playing on PC, but they are playing with the controller. As you can see on the bottom, they have the different buttons of the Xbox controller. So that's just what we see so far. They're still looking for that guy, just trying to keep an eye on that general area, which is good. You can still see the guy kind of slip through there. He was able to get some shots landed on him. The guy, odds are the guy doesn't have plates. So this is a good push as long as you can get a good line of sight and the guy's not going to end up destroying you. Guy jumped out. He sneaks around. He did get one, maybe two plates off, but he was able to take the guy out. Odds are the guy didn't fully plate up for how fast he got melted there. So good move so far. So he's still going to continue looting. Ideally, the goal should always be a couple kills while generating as much revenue as possible. So scavengers are usually pretty good. That's something you could always look at when you're picking a landing spot. Obviously, from where he's landing at now, it doesn't look like anything's in the close vicinity. So the only money he's going to get is 100% based off RNG because it's either going to be on the floor or you open the chest, you get nothing. Maybe you get 500, maybe you get 1,500. So it's kind of forced it all to be RNG versus actually doing a scavenger or a bounty or a recon, and that guarantees a certain amount of cash. Kind of peeking the area. There's not a buy station over here, so it shouldn't be really a hot drop here unless he saw someone. Activated recon, sees the guy over here. He's going to head directly towards it. The recons do take a long time to actually capture in solos. That's why I don't typically recommend those unless you can get on one really early and you know it's a very separated area where you're not going to get challenged. Right here, he's close enough where the guy is going to be able to give away his position. He can sneak up, pick this clearly. And there's another guy behind him. So it looks like he was able to take out that guy who was focused on looting. And then there's still another guy on this left-hand side. Fortunately, the door doesn't open that way. He should have been using his rifle in that scenario. Good challenge, but he should have been out there with the AK and he would have destroyed that dude. Oh, look at this. Switches to the AK. This guy is clueless. Luckily, he's able to take him out. The guy, he kind of mounted up, didn't realize he went for the flank. A lot of times people just tend to re-challenge the same spot. So that was a good move by taking that other route. He's all plated up, got the satchel, has plenty of money. The thing I'd be looking at right now is marking a buy station on the minimap. Doesn't look like he's doing that unless he already saw where one was. I didn't notice one. I would be marking one, trying to get a UAV, a self-revive, something along those lines so that you could be stacked up for the future engagements. Especially since this isn't the stimulus solos. So if you die, you got to go to the gulag, and most of your money is going to be left behind.
An enemy team is hunting you. Stay alert.
So this is another part where the UAV would be helpful. Most people probably don't have a loadout. He probably could have bought a loadout already too. He has 10,000 additional, where he'd be safe to go ahead and do that. So there's a little bit of stuff here where I would have 100% pushed for a buy station. And he's going to go to the one out in the open. Kind of risky, especially now that you're on a vehicle. Everyone knows exactly where you're at. At least it hasn't been opened. He did see someone on the map. He should have marked that particular area. There is definitely someone on the map when he kind of had the overhead view. So right here, there is an enemy in this area. So that's the area I would mark. I would mark that general area so that you know where you need to head right after. And you don't necessarily have to use your UAV right away if you decide to go with the UAV and a loadout, which it looks like he ends up going on for the loadout. He calls the UAV in, but he should already know that somebody is in that general direction towards that edge of the map. Starts off with the loadout. Looks like he has an MP5 and I believe the Growl with overkill. And then once the free class set up, see, he would already known where that guy was. He could have headed in that direction. Maybe worked on getting the kill and then rotated over to the left side. There's a vehicle right there. Could be easy kill if they don't have a trophy. Looks like they're following him potentially. And they decided to veer off course. And this guy knows that you're there. The guy jumped out by the buy station. So you got to be paying attention to these things while the mini-map is happening. You can get hit from this right side.
RTB for resupply.
Sucks because now that guy knows you're there. Could have probably closed the distance a little bit better. The guy was oblivious to you being there. Now he's 100% in a position where he could pre-aim where you're at. There he is. Stun. Good stun. Got a hit marker. Easy kill usually. Boom. Hit marker on the stun. And that's usually a very overpowered thing, especially in solos. Second loadout, you could always go with restock because pretty much you can always have them on backup for every gunfight, which kind of shifts a 50-50 gunfight to like a 60-40 or a 80-20. It puts you in a significant advantage. The guy did come over here with the vehicle. He probably bought some. Oh, there he is. Ah, that was very risky. I still remembered that the guy went to the buy station. I don't think he noticed, but he easily could have died there. Luckily, he ate the C4 and then was able to destroy the guy with the MP5. But those things you got to be aware of. Using the vehicles, playing super aggressive. These are okay scenarios, but you got to be aware of where that particular person was. And you knew that the guy drove his vehicle there and he stopped at that buy station. So a lot of times paying attention to those little things adds up. Luckily, he was just better in that situation. So he ended up picking up the heartbeat sensor here to use the stun. Now he's using that. And you can see where the guy is located. That third guy was already there. I think it was necessary to use a UAV. I think he could have already been in that area. Focused on that guy after he finished the first gunfight. And then rotated back to the buy station where he just got an engagement with that guy that threw the C4. So there's one there. There's only the two entrances on this building. So you know it's pretty clean if he's in there and there's no upstairs. Which makes this building a really good building. Right on the outside. Where'd he go? You have a heartbeat sensor, you know the guy's on the mini-map.
Gas is moving in.
The guy ended up running kind of far. His shot's a little bit off. And sometimes people don't realize it, but the reason the shot is off is probably because he's using that rear grip that actually increases your recoil. And that's a lot of times where it's better off using a tack laser or even a rubberized type of grip to help with your recoil. Even if you're gonna have a slower ADS on the rubberized, that recoil control and what makes this thing a laser is having those attachments set up the right way. And I think some of those missed shots could have been laser shots. Still wins the gunfights, but that's something to be aware of. So there's another guy. I would have marked it on the mini-map again. You can see where the guy is at. He's on this left side on the mini-map. A lot of times you got to mark those things so you kind of have a visual representation of how far it is, because sometimes the scale of the map doesn't always line up 100% with your vision of where a target is. Obviously it does, but it makes it that much easier to have a visual cue of the direction you're going in. 10 meters, the guy's in the building. Kind of in the open, you can hear the guy on the right side, it looked like. Guy's footstep sounds behind him. There he is. Door push. The guy went back up top. Perfect. The guy heard him. Obviously, he came approaching. Where the heck with the guy? He was able to get a nice little easy kill there. So he's already sitting on 10 kills with 48 left. Gulag still has a while to go before it's closed. And the thing that's happening right now that happens with a lot of kill chasers is there hasn't been really a effort to focus on positioning on any of these zones, to gatekeep for any of the zones. He's kind of centered around this individual area, walking back and forth where he's easily accessible to be shot at. So this is not necessarily the best option in my opinion. I would have rotated. He's getting shot at now. Good shot. Luckily that guy missed the shots, because if it was a competent player, he would have beamed him. Luckily he snapped onto the guy. He saw on the mini map. That's how people know where to snap around and aim. So pretty good there. But where he was in a bad position. Luckily he made up for it with his gun skill, which worked out really well. And then that guy, these guys probably do not have loot. These look like the same guys keep coming back after they've won their gulag. So he got a kill, gulag. And then there's two more on this side on the runway. You can see they're gliding in. One looks like they're on the floor there. They're in a vehicle. But there's another guy gliding over here on the left.
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel.
And there's two more. I wouldn't focus on that. There's a UAV. Nice. Yeah, I wouldn't focus on this vehicle at all. I would have gone to where the 3 kills were. This guy just got out of the vehicle, switched to the Bertha. I mean, if he gets the kill, cool. But he could have got 3 guys taken care of. Good switch to the MP5. Took a little bit of damage there. Still wins the gunfight. Still sitting on a UAV. And you know that there's 3 people behind you on this side. 2 might have died. Or maybe they got their perks because their loadout was there. There was multiple loadouts there. And it looks like he's heading towards the south one. If he goes for the scavenger, that makes sense. If not, he could have headed back to focus on that area, since those people, there's the 2 people on that side where they could end up being a third-party situation. But he's running directly back towards this other guy. And he hasn't really scouted this area, so there could be a ton of ghost players. And that's the unfortunate side about cycling back this way versus the other way. You kind of have a good idea where everyone was. There was 3 people, maybe 1 died. 1 could potentially have ghosts now because of the scab, but there was for sure 2 people in that area that may or may not be looted. Pop dead silence. It's probably a little early for the dead silence, but we'll see if he can make the play. There's a scab downstairs. Is he going to be able to get in time? He might have popped the dead silence a little too early. The guy might be downstairs or right on the other side of this wall. It's kind of odd if the guy is over here. What a weirdo. How did he know? That's funny. Well, he knew because you're camping without ghosts. Another dummy player, a camping heart. Like, why would you play like that? You got outgunned because you get a peeker's advantage. When you jump in that room, like I said, the guy could have been upstairs or downstairs. He charged in so quick, the guy, you kind of get lax when you just sit there for that long. Because you're not, you don't see anyone, you don't see anyone, you don't hear anyone, you don't hear anyone. And then all of a sudden, oh, I got to wake myself up. So that's a terrible play style of that guy that was sitting upstairs. I'm glad he won that gunfight. It would have been terrible to lose that. But there's scenarios where people walk in, and that's why the guy does it, because he might get his 1 kill and he's happy with his match. But he didn't really have anything going on. So right here where the zone is, you know that those other people that were on the edge have to rotate in. Most people rotate in a straight line where those buildings were covered. Personally, I could have stayed in this general area, or maybe he stays on top of here, and you can gatekeep those players coming in, because you know there's at least 2. If they fight each other, there's only 1. There should still be at least 2-3 people on this outer edge where he's coming from. I would have probably grabbed that scab so I could restock on money, because right now he is a little bit light on the cash. Got another dead silence, which was good. Got enough money for it. What's he going to get? The buy station? UAV, self-revive. UAV. Definitely 100% kill chasing.
Enemy UAV overhead.
The bounty's good because then that'll last for like 3 minutes versus the UAV is only going to last about 40.
Positive ID on the bounty target. Eliminate them.
There it is. Now this guy's on top of the building, so it's okay to push up on this right side. Just be aware that there's going to be Claymore, C4, something blocking this entrance, but I would definitely go up on this side of the building, because if that guy's on the other side, he will not hear you. I wouldn't necessarily pop dead silence. I don't think it was necessary. I think you're far enough away where the guy is not going to hear you, and it takes longer to get up the flight of stairs than it would without dead silence. See, it already ran out, so now you could peek right here. You could peek this window, jump on this rail, and you can actually shoot someone in that area. You just got to crouch down. Element of surprise may be gone. Heartbeat it. You could heartbeat it. See where the guy was. The guy was in the window. Oh, no, he peeked around. Good little strafing there. Takes the guy out. Only lost... I ended up losing 3 full plates because the other one was a partial. So good there. And then now he has 2 minutes to rotate over here. And this bounty ends up being a tricky one for sure.
We need radar. Send recon.
UAV entering the AO.
So it's not looking like this guy is on the UAV. That means he does have ghost. So a heartbeat sensor will not work once you get closer. So that's just something you got to be aware of. Again, this is where marking on the map would be helpful. He could just ping this building here, and he would know that this guy is already on the other side rotating across, and he could already be rotating as well. But he didn't mark anything. He hasn't pinged anything to get the visual cue of what's going on that mini-map.
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
So he expects that guy to be up in that top corner. You can see the guy is right there. He's right there. Ends up destroying him. He had the SOCOM round, so he only had the 10 bullets. The guy was a little odd. He just happened to hit him with the headshots that damaged a lot and ended up taking the guy out. Personally, how I would have handled this situation, if I thought the guy was up there, maybe he had more audio cues than I could hear in the gameplay, but I would have came in this area and I would have just thrown C4 up at the top, and you get a hit marker, and you're either going to get an EOD hit marker or you're going to damage the guy and know that he's going to damage, and then you can use 2 C4s, and the guy is going to be in a very bad situation because the angle that the guy has to take, he has to give away all his position to lean over the rail. So just obviously hindsight's 20/20. So he wins his gulag, comes back for the loot. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but odds are the guy's going to still be in the exact same spot. But knowing where he is, you could go for that second approach and do it all over again with the C4. I would have gone around the building, throw the C4 up, and then maybe you get a chance to actually damage the guy. Heartbeat sensor, not necessary. The guy had ghosts, so there's no reason to check it. Guy's still beaming him. And this is where the other guy that's in the power position gives away his positioning. Like, he should have just waited it out. But he tries to approach this. I would have just left this gunfight alone, personally. I would have taken off in the other direction because the guy has an annoying position. So that's what I'm saying. You can either challenge it, like I was saying, to use some C4, come around, you have 2 of them, or just avoid the gunfight and maybe break the line of sight. He damages the guy, tries to wall bang, doesn't get much out of it. Then he could have been beamed right here, but odds are that guy's plating up. You heard the guy down low. He broke through a door.
Enemy UAV overhead.
The guy just literally ran out. There he is. I don't know what the heck this guy was thinking.
I take your victory.
Same guy. He gets the revenge kill. It is what it is. And that's also why he says the line. A lot of times your character says the line when you get a revenge kill. Those are the quips, and that's how those particular things work. So if you ever hear those quips in-game from your character after you get a kill, it's because you got a revenge kill. It's not stated in the game, but that's pretty much how those things work. So he has enough money. He's a hair shy of having a full plate there. Besides the fully plate, why not? And he's actually sitting on a pretty decent game. He doesn't have perks, though. So that's something you got to be aware of. UAV again.
Come in, Ashwa. Requesting recon.
Enemy UAV overhead. UAV entering the
So right here, you kind of got to get an understanding of where players are. You know that there's one over here, right on the edge of that other side building that's right next to this little store. Then you have two right here. This guy's on a roof because he has the up arrow. This guy looks like he's a little bit higher. Kind of hard to tell because it's a little bit grainier. And then there's another one here. So personally, you could rotate around this way. You would just have to rotate to Superstore and then rotate around the edge. And then you could probably catch this guy going off guard. We'll kind of see how he plays it, but you kind of want to stay towards the edge and focus on positioning. The other thing you could do is go over here. As long as you can identify where this guy is first, you can position yourself so that you don't get caught off guard, which can inevitably happen because the guy has the high ground. So those two guys looking like they're going to fight. He's heading towards the closer dots here. One is on ground level and the other one's higher. So he should be able to get this one right in the open.
Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
He's going up now, and the other guy's on the other building.
Be advised, UAV.
So if the guy, he heard you,
Enemy UAV overhead.
there's no way he doesn't hear you.
Friendly drop back.
And this is a good power position too because it's right on the edge of the gas. You don't actually have to jump and this zone ends. So you can actually see everyone rotate. So these buildings right here are like definitely powerful and will be contested. So there's a guy 29 meters. I don't know where the other guy went. He might have been killed, but...
Enemy UAV overhead.
So he's visible on somebody's UAV. There's a guy a little bit further. This is where it ends up being a little sketchy. So he comes down. He's going to push this aggressively. I would have gone on this left side since there's a little bit of cover. On the right side, you can be hit. And as you're going to see right now, you get shot from behind. Which, that's just bad positioning. If he went around the left side, he had a little bit of cover. He could have dipped into the building. He's a little bit in the open. Again, if that person lasers their shots, the guy is a little bit further away. He's able to clean up this kill. And then there is another guy over here that does not have a suppressor because he popped up on the map. So this is a different guy possibly. So there could be potentially two enemies. You can hear the guy running up in the building. There he is. He's climbing down. Good shots. Luckily, he caught the guy in transition in the stairs. So in the ladder. So it worked out really well. So this is probably the most powerful position. He hasn't looked at the map that much, but positioning wise, this is definitely the most powerful position in this area because it's high ground. You have cover. People can only get to you from down below. This area is all going to be cut off. You might have the edge of the roof of the police station, but for the most part, you're only going to have a little bit of space there. And then you can decide when you want to rotate. You could always jump off this back area and then guide your way into this from the building back to your loadout. Kind of standing still. Doesn't have self-revive, so that's a terrible move. You kind of still want to stay moving, so at least if someone hits you, at least it took a little bit of skill. But in this scenario, it could be really bad.
Got gas moving in.
Well, he ends up catching this guy, luckily. This guy is crouch walking, looking into the zone. Easy little kill there. That's where the high ground came into play. So there ends up being 5 players left, and this is where you got to start figuring out where people are going to be coming from. He's going to rotate to the loadout. You want to identify how many loadouts are there. And that tells you someone is in a similar location that you were in. So it doesn't look like any loadouts. You don't see any weapons sitting around. So this area should be fairly clear on this right side. This area is very visible because it's open street. So you could double check that. Doesn't look like he's given a good peek on that. Someone could be coming over the wall here. You hear gunfire in front of you. So there's one gunfight down. There's only 3 players. Somebody called in a UAV. He does have ghosts this time around because he just swapped the loadout. And then he ended up switching for the stun, which again is a good move in solos Because if you end up in a 1v1, you stun somebody, like 90% chance you're winning that gunfight unless they have battle hardened. Even then, it's like 80% chance.
You're losing ground.
So he's rotating back around the small side where he just came through, peeking around, and then he's just looking to see what's going on. And that's all you got to do. And normally, in this scenario, this is where most people will choke. If you see a player, people start shooting right away. But normally, what you want to do is in a 1v1v1 situation, you want to identify where the last two players are unless you're in harm's way. And what I mean by that is, let's say you spotted someone and they were kind of moving around this way, but they didn't notice you. What you're going to do is kind of just pay attention to where they're at. If you can get an easy down, like boom, they don't get a chance to turn on you because it's that clean of a kill, you take it. But other than that, you want to kind of pay attention where they're going because they can serve as giving that intel of where the last player is. And then you knowing where both of them are, this gives you the biggest advantage because a lot of times if they get in a gunfight, one of them is going to be in weaker health, one's down, and the one that's left weaker health, now you have a nice gunfight where unless they just have some stupid aim and snipe you with the one-shot headshot because they quick-scoped you, you're still going to likely win that gunfight. So now you see the gunfire. He's going to chase it. He knows those are the last two people. Guy ends up getting the kill. This guy's out in the open. Easy kill. Look at how he landed like 2 bullets on that guy. Guy was basically 1 health. So it worked out the rotation there where he was able to get that clean kill. And that ends up being the gameplay. If you did enjoy the video, let me know by hitting that like button. If you're brand new looking to find your way back for more Call of Duty content, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Just a heads up, the Discord is continually growing on a regular basis. I think we're up to 900 members now, almost 1,000. So if you're looking for people to play with, maybe party up, have questions, that is definitely the place to look. On top of that, I will be streaming on Twitch. This week, I'm going to be starting up a schedule. Not sure exactly how many times I'm going to be streaming, but that will be linked in the description. I'm going to be doing multiplayer, Warzone, but in addition to that, I'm also going to be doing some live subscriber gameplay breakdowns like we saw in today's video. Appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.